accomplishment is they've drawn people's attention to what they're doing and why they're doing it. But what has happened lately is people are getting tired of sleeping bags, and they're getting tired of people in parks, and getting tired of things like that. And the New York Review just published a major article about Occupy, criticizing it, saying, you know, what are you guys going to do next? What's your next objective? And you're going to, if you just keep going where you're going, you're going to lose interest. So what do you think you're going to do in the future? Well, I have a proposal to make to people of Occupy in Vancouver. I suggest that what you should do is you should go and occupy Christy Clark's office. And tell her that unless she comes out strongly against oil tankers going down the west coast of Vancouver and British Columbia, you're going to continue to occupy her. No matter how many people are arrested, they will come and arrest you, of course, but no matter how many people are arrested, you are going to go and continue to occupy her office until she comes out strongly against those oil tankers and the pipelines. And by the way, you should do the same thing with Mr. Dix, because he has been very equivocal. He has not been clear about where the NDP stands on this issue, and that is ridiculous that he has not done better than he has been doing so far. Do we really want 225 giant, thank you, giant oil tankers going down the west coast of British Columbia every year? No. And oil tankers, by the way, that contain 5 or 6 times as much oil as the Exxon Valdez, and oil tankers that are longer than the Empire State Building. I don't think we need that, I don't think we want it, and I don't think we should allow it. And I think we should tell that to Stephen Harper in no uncertain terms. And he's going to get a big shock when he finds out just how many people in British Columbia are opposed to these pipelines. By the way, they're thinking now of moving the one from ending up in Kitimat to Prince Rupert. But that doesn't make much difference. That's a very marginal improvement. The answer is shipping oil by pipeline is very dangerous, and shipping oil by tankers is, you know, they still haven't to this day cleaned up all of the oil that was spilled in the Exxon Valdez mess. And the oil that they're going to be shipping through British Columbia, thank you very much, is 10 times worse because of its weight, and because of how thick it is, and 10 times more difficult. That's it, it's tar, that's right. You know, we used to, when I lived in Alberta, we used to call it tar sands. But thanks to the propaganda of the oil industry, and thanks to the propaganda of the Harper government, it's now not tar sands, it's now oil sands.
Keep calling it the tar sands.
Exactly. Keep calling it tar sands. Now, we know that our beloved Prime Minister is just coming back from Japan, China, and he says he nudged the Chinese on the question of human rights. And do you think he ever once mentioned Syria? Do you think he ever once mentioned Tibet? I mean, he may have done it, but it would probably go something like this. Oil sands, oil sands, oil sands, oil sands, oil sands, oil sands, pipelines, oil sands, Syria. You know, what is happening in Syria is a terrible tragedy. Over 5,000 men, women, and children killed already, and more being killed every day. And China, along with Russia, have vetoed any really important move by the United Nations. That in itself is a major tragedy. I think what we should do is we should
focus more on West Africa. TIA out of it.
I think what we should do is we should speak to your mayor as well. Where, pray tell, is your mayor, Gregor Robertson, on the business of Kinder Martin wanting to double the size of their pipeline from Alberta to British Columbia and shipping it right through the middle of Vancouver? They already ship 350,000 barrels a day through the inlet, and they want to double that to 700,000 barrels a day and ship it right out of the inlet, right near where you live right now.
Yeah.
There's no other city in the world that would allow that to happen. Have you ever heard Gregor Robertson once condemn that? Why hasn't the city of Vancouver and the mayor and the city council condemned this terrible proposal? Kinder Martin is the two people who own that company are both people who used to work for that beloved company Enron, and both of them are billionaires as a result. And they want to come up here and they want to spoil our environment in this country. We shouldn't allow that to happen. Look, this is one of the most important things, one of the most important decisions that can be made in the future of our country, and it's going to be made right here, because you people here are not going to allow those pipelines and not going to allow those tankers, and you're going to stand up for your country here in Vancouver and tell Stephen Harper you're going to get rid of him as soon as possible if he allows us to go through. What could we do differently? You know that 80% of the oil that comes into the Atlantic provinces and into Eastern Canada comes from really nice places like the Middle East and Venezuela. Why are we shipping this oil to the United States and planning to ship it to China? Why don't we service our own market with our own oil? It would be much wiser. It would be infinitely better for Canadians. It would be infinitely, the money would be much better. One of the things we have to do is we have to build a new big refinery in Edmonton, a new big refinery in Ontario or in Montreal, and start refining the product ourselves. And by the way, speaking of refineries, how many people in this room know that Chevron is thinking of closing down their refinery in Vancouver?
Burnaby.
Burnaby, yeah, exactly. You know, how terrible is that? And how do we let them get away with doing that? You know what I would do, ladies and gentlemen? I would nationalize it tomorrow morning and take control of it for Canadians. Well, Ruth gave me the title for where's Ruth? She's still here? Ruth gave me the title. She said the title's got to be Let's Take Back Canada. Well, how can we take back Canada if every single day we continue to sell off the ownership and control of our country, of our natural resources, of our businesses, of things that are really important to us? I'm going to ask you a question. Since Brian Mulroney abolished the Foreign Investment Review Agency, yeah, boo is right. How many Canadian companies have been taken over by foreigners? Who wants to put that? How many?
1,700? 14,000. Too many.
90% of them.
And how many have been blocked by our governments?
Two.
You guys are too smart. 14,000. 218 Canadian companies have been taken over, and that's to the end of December. It doesn't include January's takeovers. And altogether, and Harper was bragging the other day about how his